Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Well, this week, Onalaska lacrosse head boys hockey coach, great friend of mine, Tim Ebner, along with two key players, Jake Ziegelbein and Ryan Gargaro. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank
you. Well, last time you were on the show, Timmy's a great friend of mine. It wasn't a co-op. It was Onalaska. Now, as we tape the show here on January 23rd, I learned earlier this year that it's not just Onalaska anymore. How's that going?
Well, it's been a great transition here. I mean, we were on Alaska on our own for quite a few years, for as long as I can remember. But when lacrosse's numbers went down and they were struggling to field a team, it was a good transition for them to come up to Onalaska. Their youth have been playing up there for the last few years. You know, they're 14 and under. Their Bantam teams, their Pee Wee team. So it made for the right transition, and it's been a great thing. It's a great opportunity for us as a program to get to know some new players and some new student athletes, and that part of it has been really good.
Does it remind you at all of the days when you played for me at the Boys and Girls Club, when you came from another end of town and you sort of blended with the North Siders at the club?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I was not a North Sider, I was a South Sider, but the good thing with the Boys Club was that we had people from all over the place. And that was true when hockey started in lacrosse, too. I mean, when I was a head high school coach at lacrosse, I mean, we had West Salem was with us. We had Prairie du Chien with us. We had kids from all over the area. So it wasn't new to me to try to blend those groups together, but it was new for the kids.
Speaking of a co-op, and Jake Ziegelbein, you had played for lacrosse and now transitioned to a co-op. Any issues with that with you?
No, not at all. It's been smooth, I think is the best word. I haven't had any problems with any of the guys. I think everyone gets along really well in the locker room, and it's been great.
Was there initially, when you learned that there would not be a lacrosse team anymore, was there reluctance, was there hesitancy, was there a level of uncertainty as to what was going to happen?
Not for me. I can't say for anybody else on the team. I was excited when I heard. I mean, I like playing lacrosse. I miss playing at the rink still, but I know most Onalaska guys. I was excited to hear I would get to play with them and be on a great program, be a part of that. So. Okay,
we have a Central Red Raider, and we have an Onalaska Hilltopper who was part of the team before it became a co-op, Ryan Gargaro. What were the thoughts of the Onalaska athletes when that was going to be definitive?
Oh, we loved the idea completely. I mean, like Jake said, I mean, we knew most of the guys. We played with them youth years and junior chill or any other league team that we played in over the summer. I mean, we've been playing together for quite some time. So, I mean, the gel was already kind of there. But, as soon as we found out that the lacrosse guys were going to be able to be with us when we're already friends with most of those guys, we were happy. And, I mean, it's been going smooth. I mean, we all like each other. I mean, it's just a great time, because I can tell you right now, if we were in that same position where we might not have a team because we don't have a goalie or whatever it may be, I mean, I would definitely want some team or some other high school to take me in, and I just think that's great.
Well, Tim, you've been on the show several times in the past, and for somebody that maybe just moved into this area that is not familiar with Tim Ebner, you bring an impressive resume from Madison, from Central, from UWL, from being an entrepreneur, being a coach, being an administrator. I mean, give us a little bit of an overview of what you have done over the years.
Well, I've been able to coach at a lot of different levels, be an administrator at a lot of different levels. Starting out as a head high school hockey coach in lacrosse, going from there all the way up to coaching with Coach Alvarez in Madison. I've been fortunate enough to play or coach with, I think it's going to be probably 5 Hall of Fame coaches. When you look at Coach Sauer and you look at Coach Alvarez, Coach Herring, Coach Chris, worked with Mark Johnson, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, so there's 5, 6 guys that are going to be in their respective Hall of Fames in their sport. So I've had a lot of opportunities to learn from a lot of really good people and learn ways that I liked the way they did things, and maybe there were some things that I could tweak a little bit that were more towards my personality.
Okay, go back and reflect on that real quickly. Biggest takeaway from working with those high-profile people that you use to make yourself a better coach and to develop your players in a special way?
Well, it's the details. It's the little details of having everything organized, everything prepared, everything ready, and making sure that the players know that as well. We've kind of set how we want to run the program, and I think the lacrosse guys have done a great job of coming in and learning that and buying into what we've been trying to sell for the years, and it's worked. And that's true with Coach Alvarez. You surround yourself with good people, guys that love the game, and that's kind of the thing. And same with Coach Herring and Coach Chris, and I can go all the way back to Coach Degatano at Central. You know, all those guys were just phenomenal coaches.
Well, Jake Ziegelbein from Central Hockey, baseball, you've played football, you're all academic, National Honor Society. I mean, so you put the classroom before you talk about athletics. Is that something that is encouraged, expected from your family?
Absolutely. My parents expect me to do very well in school, and I think I've done that so far. And if I'm not, then they'll definitely be getting on me about that. So that's one of the things that I've been taught while growing up is I need to do well in school.
Well, as a National Honor Society member, I mean, that's pretty special in itself. So you're able to really manage a time management issue in terms of spending your time as Coach Ebner expects, preparing for hockey, but also in school. Is that a challenge?
Yeah, sometimes it is. I've gotten a lot better at it as time has gone on, but I mean, it hasn't been that big of a deal. I mean, I've had a couple releases now in the latter years of my high school career, so that helps a lot. But I mean, as time goes on, I've just gotten better at time management.
Do you know it's an honor to be selected as a captain? And you are. What do you see as your role as a captain? Now, some people, they're just a captain because they talk to the officials and so on, but they really don't understand the depth of being a captain. I assume you do.
Well, I try to understand it. I think it's a learning process every day. You got to learn how to interact with the guys in the room and get them to play at their best, which is a challenge sometimes. And I think it's a hard job because it's tough to connect with every single person and get them to play at the top of their ability. But, I mean, yeah, it's...
And you're a great leader and a role model and so on. And Ryan, too, from Onalaska, you are a captain.
Yep.
And you're a captain for the same reason. Jake talked about like getting players to elevate their game, but not everybody elevates their game. Not everybody follows that particular script. So as a captain along with Jake, you see that, what do you do?
You just got to understand every single player's like mentality, because I know some people get amped up or ready to go in different ways, like the different way you approach them. So I mean, maybe some guys need one-on-one, just like, hey, come on, like you got this. Whereas like some people need to like be in a locker room group setting where you're just yelling in their face. And I mean, that is a really big piece, in my opinion, of like defining you as like a leader. Like you need to know like the niche of them getting to know like who you are as a captain, and then and give them reasons why they can trust you.
Well said. I can see why these are captains, Timmy. And is that you knew that in advance? Is that your expectations?
Well, yeah, that's our expectations. I mean, we really allow the team to vote on captains. We allow the team to vote on all of our awards at the end of the year as well. So it's not just us as coaches deciding who is going to be a captain. It's allowing the team. They know who they're going to look to. They know who they're going to deal with, and the best, I guess, and let them pick. And then we're just one vote in that process.
So, Ryan, too, as Jake, all academic. I mean, your studies come first. Tough subjects that you, AP subjects that you, a part of your curriculum?
Yeah, I would rather, I mean, in my opinion at least, and I know Jake's probably the same way, I would much rather take an AP class and not get as much of a better grade, because I think that's going to challenge me and test me prior to college, so that way I can get more of a feel of like what college classes are going to be, so that way I can prepare now, so that way later on it'll help.
Toughest class?
For me, probably AP Calculus, because throughout like pre-calc, which was an honors class but not an AP course, I mean, every single like math class, math always came easy to me, but like calculus is like making me work harder, and like my grades have actually gotten progressively better because I'm figuring that out and realizing that.
Is it difficult though, because you take so much pride and passion in your grades, and you want to be a good athlete too? Balancing is not an issue?
No, I mean, time management has always personally been one of my strongest suits. I mean, I know I might be a little late on the ice, but it's because I'm spending time in the locker room. I mean, I like spending as much time as I can with the guys, but I mean, like, time management with school, I mean, it's just something that you have to do if you want to be successful, because you're going to have a lot of stuff coming at you at a lot of different times, and you just need to know how to handle it.
But leadership and captain and so on. But your leadership goes a little bit further, because you've helped young people learn how to skate.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that some people have done it for me. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like, I always went to the high school hockey games when he was coaching still, and I mean, I was like 5 years old, and just watching was great. And then being able, like, 2 weeks later, being like 4 or 5 years old, and they're helping me, like, that just made me want to play even more. And I obviously want to pass that on, because I really think that will help spread the community, like, the love of the game and everything. So
people have inspired you when you were young?
Yep.
Who was that?
Specifically, I remember watching growing up Jerry Rank, which is now one of our assistant coaches, as well as Jesse Tredenik and Jordan Guth, which I think graduated from MSOE last year.
And you've had some important people in your life too that have inspired you when you were young.
Yeah, my parents are big ones. They've always been pushing me to go as hard as I can in everything that I do, including sports and school. Big thing that I remember from youth hockey that kind of inspired me to keep going with hockey is just like whenever the Chill, Cougars and Chill would come in and practice with us. Sometimes they'd have a couple guys come out and skate with us, and that was just so awesome as a kid to see those guys come out and help. And I have done that a couple of times when I played for the Freeze for a little bit, and it's just great to give back, because I know what it feels like as a little kid to see those guys come out on the ice and skate with you and teach you a little bit.
Good for you. Speaking of skating, we're going to skate aside just for a minute, take an intermission break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about high school hockey in the area. We'll be right back.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Great interview today. We're talking about Onalaska Crosse Boys Hockey with head coach Tim Ebner, Jake Ziegelbein from Central, Ryan Gargaro from Onalaska. What's the biggest contribution? What's the biggest skill set that these two athletes share with you in the program?
Well, I think for both of them, it comes down to just their knowledge. They're coachable. They ask questions, but in turn, we can tell them what to do, and they're just going to be able to do it. And that's been the big thing. You know, even harder for Jake, since Jake is new to our program, new to our systems, new to what we're doing. You just have to tell him once, and we know he's going to do the right thing, and he's going to do it all the time. So they just don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and if they do, they get it fixed right away.
So high IQ, obviously.
Absolutely.
Well, Jake, I see your profile, and you want to pursue something pretty special, aerospace engineer.
Yeah, that's, as of now, yeah.
That's one of your options.
Yes.
You know, I told my mom when I was young that's what I was going to do. She said, "I think you should probably try something else." so I went to college and majored in teaching instead. But aerospace engineer, whoa! So that's a possibility. So now this chapter of your life is ending pretty quick, and you're graduating. So where are you going to go from there?
Well, I got accepted into College of Science and Engineering at the University of Minnesota, so I'm going to go there. and I plan on majoring in aerospace engineering. However, I know people switch their majors all the time, so we're going to go see how it goes and go from there. But I've honestly always been fascinated with space, so that's just what I want to pursue, and it really interests me. So,
highly impressive, to say the least. And Ryan, you're not going into aerospace.
No, it's not as exciting.
You have other skills. What are you going? Now you're going to pursue something in a few months. You're graduating too.
Yeah. So my plan as of right now, I mean, if I can stay with junior hockey, I mean that's the plan, and I'm going to take that and ride that wave as long as I can. But if not, and that doesn't work out, I'm going to probably go to school, probably St. Thomas, and I'm going to go into financial advisory, like personal finance, because I'm really big into stocks. I kind of always have been ever since high school. So.
Can you fix my portfolio? It hasn't looked very good the last couple months.
Not super well, but I could probably give you a general idea.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just get together after the show. But if I asked the players on a team to describe Ryan Gargaro, what would they say?
They would probably say they probably don't like me that much because I get on them a lot, but I mean, being accountable, I mean, someone has to, or holding people accountable, I mean, someone has to do it. And I mean, if we're successful as a team at the end of the day and some guys don't like me, but we're getting the job done, then so be it.
That's what a leader does. You can't be liked by everybody necessarily. But Jake, would they say the same thing about you, being a captain?
Probably something pretty similar. I mean, I hope they would say that I go out there and I try to make them better, whether that's getting on them or whatever it takes to push guys to play at their highest level. So I think that they would say probably something pretty similar, and that I just try to push them to be as best as I can. I'm
sure you do. Well, Coach, as we tape the show here on the 23rd of January, you just came away with a big win last night. You're 17-2. Talk about the season. Talk about what's ahead, and then kind of unveiling what may happen in the postseason.
Well, we've got a handful of games left in our regular season. We've got the seeding meeting coming up in a couple weeks, which will seed us in our section if where we're gonna play and who we're gonna play at that point for the playoffs. Right now, it's just a matter of trying to continue to get better. The season started really well, and then we kind of had a lull. We had a long break over Christmas, which kind of was a little hard to come out of. But I think as the second half has progressed, we're getting to that point. We're getting back to playing like we were at the beginning of the year. I think the uniqueness of this group is they've had such high expectations from day one. And they've never wavered on it. So they know where they want to go with it. They know where we want to go with it as a program and as a team. So that's kind of where we're headed.
And you're ranked 7th in the state. So you're comfortable in how the state views you as a team?
Well, very comfortable. The way our schedule is put together is we try to play teams from every region of the state. That way, when it comes time to the end of the year and the reputation of our program, they can always go back and look and say, okay, they played such and such a team from our section, and here's how it went for them. So I think the way our schedule is put together, this year's schedule probably being the toughest since I've been head coach, the guys have responded well, and that in turn looks good across the state.
Jake, you've had an outstanding career, but you had some injuries along the way too.
Yeah, I've had 3 broken bones in my life. I think it was 7th grade summer, I broke my collarbone. And then the year after that, I broke my ankle playing hockey. And then just this past summer, I broke my wrist at a camp in hockey.
How did that affect you mentally? Was that a time when you struggled?
I think the one that affected me the most was the most recent one, my wrist, because it was, we were hearing about the co-op and everything, and the season was kind of getting rolling with summer practices and stuff. And we had a tournament in Madison coming up, and it was kind of the first time to have an opportunity to play with all the new teammates and get to know them and stuff, and I wasn't able to do that. I still went up there, got to talk to them, but it kind of sucked not being able to play right away with a broken bone. But, it's the way it goes, and you just got to get through it, I guess. I mean,
what's something that our viewers that are getting to know you a little bit now, what's something, Jake, that they may not know about you?
Well, I have this little kind of pet peeve before I go to bed every night. If I gotta have the blinds facing upwards when I go to sleep, I don't know why. My grandma told me one day that it makes the room darker, and it was when I was younger. It's just been this little OCD thing that I have.
Really?
So I got to do it or else I can't sleep.
Interesting. Maybe
Yeah.
well, sometimes I have some sleep issues. Maybe I'll try that tonight.
Give it a shot.
Grandma's advice, pretty special.
Yeah.
You've had, have you had any real kind of significant disappointments in your life?
Well, in terms of sports, I can say last year, playing Onalaska, we were kind of an underdog going into the game. We ended up being forcing a really close game, lost in overtime. But that was kind of a disappointment. Really, all of us really wanted to win, but it was a great game, a really fun game. Those are always the best games, ones that are tight and competitive, and that probably was one of them.
Made you stronger.
Yes, it did. Absolutely.
Setbacks really reveal our character, and if we can rebound from that and are a better person. Have you had any of those in your life, Ryan?
Yeah, so I got injured actually this past April, and I was out for 4 months, and like from around June and July are like the big months of like junior camp tryouts, and that's what I want to pursue. And I mean, it hurt a lot throughout the 4 months that I was injured, but as soon as I got back in July, I stuck with it. I did everything I could that my physician told me, then I just stuck with it, and I was able to get back actually a few weeks earlier than I thought, and I was able to make one of the camps.
Somebody told me that something that may be interesting about you, maybe a defining moment, is the fact that you had an epiphany. You sort of woke up when you were a little younger, and you decided to dedicate yourself more to academics.
Yeah, it was actually my freshman year, because I just decided, like, in middle school, I kind of just got by. I mean, I got all A's. I think I had 1 A- in Algebra 1, which was an accelerated class at the time, and I just decided, I was like, if I want to get to where I want to go and define myself more as a person and a student outside of the classroom, just to see like how far I can go, I just decided, I was like, the harder classes is going to get me there. If I just try to squeak by in easy classes, then I really won't ever be defined.
Was there somebody that planted that seed in you?
No, I just decided that.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive, Coach. Well, you have a kind of a deep philosophy of life, too.
Yep. I really think that, I mean, no matter what anyone says, you always have to work the hardest that you can work, and you have to define yourself off of what you can do and not whoever you're playing. Because and we've experienced it throughout the year, if you play down to your competition, you're never going to be successful in the end. And I mean, if you always play to the level of yourself, that'll always bring you as far as you want to go.
Does the saying, live life to the fullest, describe you?
Yes, it does, truthfully, because I mean, as soon as you do that, I mean, you'll feel more of a person, and you'll feel more complete as yourself.
What would be a saying that would describe you, Jake? You're a deep, intelligent, well-spoken guy. Is there something that our viewers might find interesting about you and your philosophy?
What I think is every single day, it's kind of like an opportunity to either build a good or a bad habit, and whether you make the right or the wrong choice, whether it's easy or hard, it's what's going to define you. So every day you're just working to build those good habits rather than the bad ones, and that way you're increasingly making yourself a better person every single day.
You've enjoyed high school, and as we get to the end now in the next few months, any regrets?
Not that I can think of, no.
And probably no regrets with you either. You've enjoyed your high school experience, and the guy that can also certainly say that would be you, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's been for me, it's been a great time this year. We've had a great year this year. I've been at Onalaska over 20 years now. It's been a great run there as well. So you just got to go. And one thing that makes our program, and as you can see with these guys today, is that they love the game of hockey. I mean, and that's why we've been able to be as successful as we are, and that's why we've been able to be as demanding as we are in what we ask out of them out of season and in season. So when they love the game and they love to do to play it, that makes a big difference.
Speaking of loving the game, as we end the show, you have not lost your passion, your energy, your enthusiasm, your dedication to coaching, have you?
No, I just love doing it. It's kind of what I've done my whole life, from the time I graduated from high school, as you know. So it's just fun. I enjoy getting around. I enjoy the game itself, but I also enjoy being around the guys and hopefully making a difference in what they do and how they look at life.
And you got another 20 or 30 years ahead of you, don't you?
No, I don't think that.
Well, boy, it's been a pleasure. We just are so blessed on this show to have coaches and athletes that are just full of depth and substance and role models. And, I mean, it's a blessing for me to be the host. So we want to thank you for being on the show again. Head coach lacrosse, Onalaska High School Hockey, Tim Ebner, along with Jake Ziegelbein from Central, Ryan Gargaro from Onalaska. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts and a film clip on a recent game right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team.
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Thanks for joining us this week here on Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healtay weekend.